r/AskReddit. What is your favorite? And that's why we had to put this sign up story. His first day of kindergarten. My brother thought he could escape during recess by trying to climb this massive chain link fence. He got up about 8 feet before the lunch ladies noticed and disciplined him. The aides sent him to the principal's office, and when questioned why he did it, my little smartass 5-year-old brother replied that there was no sign that said you can't climb it. There is now a sign. Was chatting with students in the lounge area when all of a sudden, we hear an incredibly loud bang. Turns out that another new student had been texting while walking to our center's demo room and totally missed the fact that the room's walls are all panes of glass. So she ultimately face planted in front of me and my group. Not the first time this has happened, but this was enough to warrant a caution, glass ahead sign. From my father. He was eating at a seafood restaurant and had to pee. There was a sign on the door to the bathroom that said something like, "If you ate this dish, then wash your hands before using the bathroom." My father, being male and my father, laughed it off and stepped inside to use the urinal. There was a moment when he was peeing and fine, and then there became the moment when he felt like his dick was on fire. So he ran to the sinks and stared, splashing water on his junk, which also splashed his face, so he, in a very Home Alone style, grabbed his face in an OMG fashion, which then started to burn his eyes. So he was there for a very long time, splashing water up and down trying to control the burn. Eventually he returned to the table, paid, and left. Obviously there was a reason why the sign existed, and he was just an extension of it. Back when I was a kid, there was a roadside park we picnicked at where a guy chasing a frisbee jumped a fence, not realizing that those were not bushes on the other side, but the tops of trees growing from the base of a 30-foot cliff. So anyway, that's how that park came to have signs every 10 feet on the fence warning of the drop. Through my cousin who managed a restaurant for years. On the hostess stand at the front they had a sign that said, "We smoke our meats with premium apple wood." A small bowl of the wood chips they used placed right in front of it. The amount of people who would take a wood chip and try to eat it were staggering. It got to the point they had to keep a bag of the wood chips in the cabinet of the hostess stand. People would sometimes put them in their mouth and spit it out embarrassed, and try to cover it up. Some would laugh and say, "I shouldn't have had that last drink." Others would turn around, double down, and try to give the saliva-covered chip to the hostess, then complain that these mints are disgusting. So there is now another sign beside the bowl that says, "Wood chips do not eat," in red letters. Makes for fun conversation every night for the hostesses seating people who are new to the restaurant. Unfortunately they still need to keep an extra bag of wood chips in the stand, and people still think they look like a great after-dinner snack. Now when the double downers complain, the hostess just points to the sign and laughs. People never cease to amaze. I work at the dining hall at my university and was cleaning the salad bar when I noticed a small fire coming from our toaster oven. After running to find my manager, we eventually put it out. Turns out some guy stuck a piece of pie in there with a paper plate and the entire thing bursted into flames. "Please only put bread in the toaster" became the new sign. One day I noticed that they had drained, cleaned, and refilled the pool at my apartment complex. A few days later I noticed a new sign on the pool area gate that said, "Persons with active diarrhea or who have had diarrhea in the past 48 hours are not permitted to enter the pool." We had to put a sign up a few years back at my job on one of those automated sample machines. It was dispensing small tins of Caesar's dog food. very clearly advertised as such, and a woman approached myself and a co-worker asking us why she and her 2 children just ate dog food. I felt the only response to her was because you fed it to them. Management didn't approve of that answer, so we had to put up a sign. My husband and I moved into our first home. It was a completely renovated, amazingly cool house. We knew the previous owner flipped it, and it was a bona fide bachelor pad, leather bar, pinball machine, blue underlighting in the kitchen's bathroom, hot tub, the whole 9 yards. A few weeks after moving in, we noticed people kept stopping by the house asking for Alex. We told them he didn't live here anymore, and they always would ask if we had his new address. They were nice enough, but it was starting to get annoying. One Tuesday evening around 11 o'clock, we were falling asleep on the couch, and all of a sudden some guy strung out appeared in our living room. He opened the sliding door right next to us and walked in asking for Alex. My husband stood up and was like, "WTF, Alex doesn't live here anymore, tell all your friends," and the guy left. We learned the next day from our neighbors that Alex was the local drug kingpin in the area and frequently had his unsavory clientele over to pick up product here at all hours of the day-night. That weekend we put up a sign that said "Alex doesn't live here," went out and got a massive Rottweiler. We named him Alex. Not necessarily a sign we put up, but worked with an assistant manager at Sonic who had poured degreaser in her drink and proceeded to drink it to claim that someone had tried poisoning her. And of course, upon reviewing the infamous non-working camera system and watching her poison herself, every employee at that point had to sign paperwork stating we would not drink cleaning chemicals. I work in an office, and in the bathroom we have a sign that says "Please don't flush printer paper. Throw your divorce papers in the trash." Now every time someone in our office has to use the bathroom, we say, "I gotta go flush the divorce papers." At the college I went to, there was a sign on the men's bathroom in one building that said, "Please don't use your feet to flush the toilets," because some dude drop-kicked a toilet in an attempt to flush it. I've never laughed so hard reading a sign in my life. There's this knick-knack shop in my hometown that has a decorative basket of colorful bead soaps or whatever, and above it they had this sign that said "Do not eat," because years ago there was some kid that tried to eat them and kept popping them into his mouth one after another. When signing a lease for an apartment in college, the landlord mentioned, "You'll probably see some funny things in there." The one I had to ask about said something to the effect of, "Lessee shall agree to not run internal combustion engines inside the dwelling." The landlord started putting that in his leases after walking in on a guy working on and running his motorcycle in the middle of his living room. On holiday in Tenerife, my dad took me to a park thing where you could feed these little spider monkeys. Well, this monkey was chilling on my dad's shoulder, and suddenly I hear him yell and the monkey just goes flying up to the top of a tree. Well, it turned out my dad had a mole on his neck, like quite a big raised one, and this monkey had bitten it clean off, like it was sat in the top of its tree just chewing it like gum. Face with tears of joy. Went back the next year and they had a badly hand-drawn sign of a man with a big mole on his neck saying "danger" or something like that. They remembered my dad from the year before and made him take photos with the sign and everything. My dad's mole is the reason they had to put up that sign. Not a sign, but I was wondering why I had to sign an agreement as part of my mortgage to not store radioactive materials at my house. I thought it was kind of funny because who would do that? 2 weeks later I listened to the Dollar podcast episode about David Hahn, who attempted to create a neutron source by amassing tiny radioactive elements from household items. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe for more Reddit content.